Today we are going to discuss the process of transcription, which is basically the process of formation of RNA from DNA. But before starting, let me just tell you about central dogma. Now this central dogma provides us with the information of flow of genetic material and DNA. After undergoing replication, it forms DNA. Okay, then this DNA becomes RNA or mRNA, you can call, by the process of transcription, which we are going to learn in this chapter. And this RNA then forms the proteins through a process known as translation. So we are going to discuss here the process of transcription. Okay, but before that, let me tell you again that this central dogma is proposed by Francis Crick in the year 1958. Okay, now before starting, let me show you the transcription unit. You can see the transcription unit here. So this transcription unit is basically a stretch of DNA, right? A stretch of DNA, or you can call it a sequence of nucleotide in DNA, which codes for protein, which code for RNA, right? So this transcription basically this transcription unit helps in formation of the RNA. So this is basically a sequence which consists of a promoter region. You can see the promoter region here. This promoter region is again a sequence of DNA which is recognized by transcription factors. So transcription factors, they will recognize this sequence and they will initiate the process of transcription. And these transcription factors, they will recruit the polymerase enzyme, RNA polymerase, so that it may help in synthesis of the RNA from the coding region of the gene, right? And you can see there are two strands. One is template strand, the other one is coding strand. Talking about the template strand, this strand is also known as non-coding strand, also antisense strand, because this strand contains the anticodons, right? And this strand is used by the polymerase enzymes to attach the complementary base pairs or bases during the RNA transcription process. Then there is, you can see the coding strand is also there. This strand is sense strand, and this strand contains the codons, right? So it's a DNA strand whose base sequence basically correspond to the base sequence of the RNA which is being formed. You can call it RNA transcript as well, the RNA that is being formed, right? Then there is structural gene. These are the genes that code for synthesis of polypeptide, but before that they will synthesize RNA. Then, and after undergoing the process of translation, the RNA will form the polypeptides, right, or proteins, you can call it. So synthesis of RNA, and I'll write here polypeptides, okay, because after it undergoes the process of translation, it will form proteins, okay. Then you can see there is one more region, which is terminator. This terminator region is basically, again, it's a sequence of DNA that helps in termination of the transcription. So it is basically responsible for termination of the whole process, or you can say completion of the whole process of transcription, right? So this is the whole transcription unit. Moreover, you can see the template strand and coding strand, their direction. You can see one strand, if it runs from 5' to 3', the other strand is also having the opposite polarity, since it is a part of DNA. So it is having the opposite polarity, right? Now here is the more detailed structure or diagram of the you can say process of transcription. So here you can see an enzyme, RNA polymerase, which helps in the whole process of transcription, and this arrow shows the movement of polymerase enzyme. And you can see NTPs here. These are very important NTPs because they are nucleoside triphosphate, and basically these are the precursors of RNA, right? So they help in formation of RNA, and moreover they also serve as energy source for the reaction, cellular reaction, right? So they are precursors of RNA and they act as energy source for the reaction, whole reaction, right? And then this RNA polymerase, I was talking about this one. So RNA polymerase is the enzyme which helps in synthesis of the RNA from DNA, right? This is important. RNA is being formed from DNA because it will form DNA, it will use DNA template so as to add bases, right? Now this RNA polymerase enzyme, this is different types. This is of different types. Let me take the case of eukaryotes. In eukaryotes, the RNA polymerase is of 3 types. Polymerase 1, which we can call it Pol1, right, which helps in synthesis of ribosomal RNA, rRNA, which is of different 28S, 18S, 5.8S, right? Then there is polymerase 2. This polymerase 2 enzyme basically helps in formation of hnRNA, heterogeneous nuclear RNA we call it, right? And moreover, this also helps in formation of snRNA, right? So this snRNA, small nuclear RNA, is getting synthesized from this enzyme polymerase 2. Then there is enzyme polymerase 3 here. Let me write 3. Okay. So this helps in formation of tRNA, which is transfer RNA, which is used in the process of translation. Then 5sR RNA. This srRNA is basically small regulatory RNA, right? Moreover, it also helps in synthesis of snRNA. So you can see here this snRNA is being synthesized by both the enzymes, polymerase 1 and polymerase 2, right? There are 3 polymerase enzymes in case of eukaryotes, okay, but not in case of prokaryotes. In case of prokaryotes, there is only one polymerase, right? So only one RNA polymerase. I will write it as RNA pol, so it is one and the same thing, right? Now next you can see here there is rewinding of DNA. Actually initially there occurs unwinding of DNA because RNA polymerase is moving in this direction from left to right in this direction, right? So here unwinding of DNA occurs, and the strand, it forms a bubble, or you can say transcription bubble has been formed, and one of the strands, generally the template strand, it is actually the template strand which is being coded and which forms the RNA. So you can see the strand of RNA which is getting synthesized from 5' to 3' direction, and here you can see the DNA RNA hybrid region where this shows that RNA is being formed after adding the complementary bases by using the template strand. फिर आप देखेंगे इसमें एक और चीज़ है, rewinding of DNA, it is being occurring here, right? Means as the reaction proceeds from the back side, rewinding of DNA occurs. So this is how the process of whole transcription process occurs, right? And coming to the next diagram. So this one is the diagram. Here you can see a codon here, right? So codon basically is a sequence of 3 nucleotides. Right? Actually this codon, these 3 nucleotides, they join together to form a unit of genetic code in a DNA, or you can say an RNA molecule, right? So this is very important. Now you can see the codon is triplet. Mind it is always triplet because 3 nucleotides are being added. Okay, so let me draw the transcription unit so that you may understand it better. Suppose this is a double helical structure of DNA, right? So here you can see I'm making the bases A, T, C, G, A, T, C, G, right? So these are the bases in one strand of DNA. Okay. Now you know the complementary sequence will be T, A, G, C. Okay. T, A, G, C. So this is the complementary basis on the other side. Okay. Now let us take one strand as coding strand, the other one as template strand. So let me just erase this one. Okay, so now I'll take the coding strand first. So here is the coding strand A, T, C, G, A, T, C and G, right? Suppose this strand is coding strand. Okay, now I'm going to draw it further. Now you can see this strand is the template strand, suppose. So obviously but this will be T, A, G, C, T, A, G, C, right? So this one is the template strand. Now I'm going to show you the synthesis of the RNA. So you can see now the RNA will get formed, but as we know that the RNA will be formed by using the template strand. So according to template strand, the RNA form will be A, U, C, G, A, U, C, G. I'm using uracil here because RNA it is RNA which is getting formed here, right? So this is the whole strand of RNA which is getting formed from the template strand. Suppose I take this RNA here, A, U, C, G, A, U, C, G. Now as I told you that codon is triplet, so this AUC will be having some code for the amino acid. Suppose it's a code for isoleucine, right? ILE. I'm writing it as ILE. GAU, it is coding for the amino acid aspartic acid, ASP, right? So this is how the RNA is being formed, and the codons help in process of synthesis of the proteins, right? But this comes under the process of translation that we will discuss in the lecture of translation. But you must be knowing that this template strand, which is used as the parental strand, this helps in the formation of synthesis of the RNA, right? Moreover, I want to tell you that this whole process of transcription, it occurs in 3 steps. The first step is initiation, where some factors are there. I told you earlier that there are transcription factors. So I will name them. One is sigma factor. This sigma factor is the initiation factor, and you can call it as a protein, because these factors are basically proteins. So this protein is required for RNA synthesis because RNA polymerase, it will bind to RNA polymerase, and it will help in the process of initiation of the transcription. Then occurs the next stage, elongation. where the complementary bases are being added and the whole strand of RNA, it get elongates, right? Then third step, which is the last step, that is termination. In this termination process, another factor, which is release factor, we call it release factor, RF or release factor, that is the Rho factor. So this factor breaks the bond between DNA and RNA. So breaks bond between DNA and RNA, and the RNA gets released. Actually, it breaks the bond between these. Here it will break the bonds. These bonds it will broke. Then these bonds are being broken down, and here the process gets completed because the RNA is set free now, and you can call it a primary transcript. The better word is primary transcript here, right? Then let me move ahead. Now, so after the process of termination, we get what is known as primary transcript. Primary transcript. So this primary transcript in eukaryotes contains two things, both introns as well as exons. Now let me tell you, the introns are intervening sequences, and this whole primary transcript is right now non-functional. Why it is non-functional? Because it contains both introns and exons, and these introns are not required in the processed mRNA. It is not required. So this primary transcript is subjected to splicing. So it will undergo a process of splicing where the introns, which are the intervening sequence, are being removed, and only exons which are left, they are being joined by the enzymes so as to form the functional or mature RNA, right? Then it undergoes two more additional processes. One is capping. Capping occurs at 5' end of the hnRNA, right, where methyl guanosine triphosphate. So where methyl guanosine triphosphate is being added, right, and the second process is tailing. So after capping, tailing also occurs. So in this occurs at the 3' end of the this primary transcript, where adenylated residues which are 200 to 300 in number, they are being added, right, at the 3' end, and then only this becomes the fully processed hnRNA. Now this RNA is, since it is fully processed, now it may undergo the process of translation, which we will discuss in the next lecture. So this is the whole process. Let me tell you where the capping and tailing occurs. Let me show you. So here occurs the capping and tailing. On the 5' end, at this end, it occurs the capping, and 3' end, which is here, right, here occurs tailing. So this marks the completion of the whole process of the transcription.